All right, Delaware Beer Fest fans, we are back with another episode of the Daily Beer Podcast. I'm Dennis, your host, and today we have a special treat for you. We have Joe Berendsohn from Mermaid Spirits with us, talking about their involvement with the Delaware Beer Fest, which is October 5th at Daniel S. Frawley Stadium, home of the Wilmington Blue Rocks, down in Wilmington, Delaware. Make sure you get those tickets now at DelawareBeerFest.com. But with all that said, Joe, how are you? Welcome.
Well, I'm doing very well today. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you for being on this. Obviously, as you can tell, we're sitting in the outfield in Frawley Stadium here in this beautiful weather out here, right?
Oh, it's wonderful. Blue skies.
The magic of camera. Here we go. So tell me, as we said off air a little bit, I am a fan of the Mermaid Spirits, and I know that you guys have been at the Philadelphia Beer Fest. You've been at the All-Star Craft Beer and Wine Festival at Citizens Bank. But please tell us the magic. Tell us about Mermaid Spirits.
Well, so I'm glad you asked. The origin story of Mermaid Spirits is one of my favorite ones to tell. I get razzed by my boss, Dave, the founder, because I am very likely at any given time to ramble off the his origin story, at any given time. So it all started in 2018. It started a little bit before then, but our doors opened in 2018. We were founded by a man, Dave, like I was saying before, Dr. David Johnston, PhD in food biochemistry. That's where the doctorate comes in. Dave has a background in fermentation and distillation research. He's an international expert in corn, which is very important when it comes to
I love that.
distilling.
I love that.
Absolutely.
That's impressive.
No, it is. And he's traveled extensively, helping. He's traveled extensively through the course of his work in fermentation distillation research, specifically focusing around fuel ethanol distillation. If you notice, when you're at the gas pump, it says 10% ethanol.
Right.
If you think about how much gas we use, if 10% of all that's ethanol, it has to be fermented and distilled. So it's a tremendous amount of raw material. And so the efficiency of producing that is like paramount to making it, good for the environment and expensive for the consumer. So that's what Dave's body of work has been in. In doing that, he has developed a mastery of fermentation and distillation, having done it week in and week out for his entire career, earning 7 patents in the field.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah. And so approaching retirement, he's a aficionado of beverages, as we are. That's what brings us together.
That's how it starts. That's how it always starts.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's where it started for us all. Going into retirement, it's not super close. Like Dave's looking to retire, in the near future from his research now. But he wanted to open a beverage distillery, and his family was very supportive of it, and he had done extensive research. And through the travels he had done, traveling the world doing his research, he had accumulated a little black book of recipes where if he were to one day open a distillery, that would be like his perfected recipes. And that's what he ended up opening the doors to Mermaid with in 2018. And he just started with white spirits in the beginning, vodka and rum, and eventually producing an aged rum, and then now a line of bourbons that we are known for in the Philadelphia area as well. And then canned beverages, which is very, that's a much more recent development. That's where, that's what we're talking about now. Our cooler tea, that's what my hat says.
There it is.
And it's turned into our biggest product. But, kind of rambling there, but,
that's all right.
Brilliant man, excellent leader, great guy, fun at parties.
Well,
Yeah,
he's the one bringing the ethanol, so we're good, right? You know,
absolutely. He's bringing Dave. You can say a lot about Dave, but he brings the ethanol,
ethanol.
my man.
so,
Yeah.
so now, how long have you
Yeah.
been with Mermaid Spirits?
So I've been with Mermaid Spirits for coming up on like 2.5 years.
Excellent, excellent.
2.5 years. So so I started as a customer in 2020. Not because the state stores were shut down. I started because my interest in distilling,
Sure,
brewing
sure.
originally, but then distilling, led me to during the lockdown call all of the local distilleries not to buy alcohol, but to ask them like, what's your process? I could not stop thinking about it. I was like, what's your process?
Kind of
Like, what's
consumed,
the
yeah.
business like? Yeah, totally. I became totally consumed. And of all the people I called in the area, and it was all of them, and I met with them in their parking lots and
Very good.
stuff like that, wherever they'd have me. Dave is the coolest. He is the smartest, nicest guy. And so I got to know him through just a cold call and getting to know him as a person and getting to understand his business better. Started as a customer, or became a customer rather. And then I was kind of burnt out in my previous career because I was in a field that had gone like parabolic during COVID. So I was very, very burnt out in my previous career. And I was like, you know what? I would love to bartend because I wanted to bartend when I was like a little bit younger, but I just never had the chance because of another job that I had at the time. It would have conflicted timing wise. And
Right.
just as I said that, it's almost as if the sky had opened up. Dave posted completely unconnected. We hadn't talked in like several months. He posted on Instagram that he was looking for a bartender, and I called him up and I said, "Hey, I have no experience, but I saw you just posted a job listing." And before I could stop talking, he was like, "Yes, absolutely." I met with him that day, and then learned to bartend later that week, and that snowballed into from being the bartender at the bar to being the sales representative until
Okay.
I eventually we grew our distribution network and sold a bunch more product until I self-appointed the title sales director of sales and marketing.
There.
Now that I need new business cards, so
That's actually
yeah.
very amazing. That is a well-crafted career right there. That's
Well,
absolutely amazing.
in only 2.5 years.
Yeah, but that what a great little story there. That's pretty
Thank you
amazing,
very
Joe.
much.
Well,
Yeah. Well, yeah.
oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh no, I just wanted to say I feel like a lot of people say this that it's all about the team that you have and the leader, but I cannot understate how great the environment that Dave has built and that my coworkers contribute to that allow us to show up like every day and do like amazing work and have like a ton of fun, and we're able to like it's like have fun, like the adage is like have fun and be yourself. It's like we very much get to do that, and it is largely to do because of like Dave's leadership.
That is great.
Yeah,
It just sounds like a very fun, inviting environment.
absolutely.
Yeah, I will give a plug to because I want to go into the product a little bit, but I want to give a
Please.
plug
Yeah.
to the website. Like, there's a lot of websites that you go to, and not just in the craft beer or cocktail industry or whatever, but a lot of websites really don't give you the story, nor do they give you recipes. Well, forget that. Mermaidspirits.com
Breaking the mold
gives you recipes, and I tell you what.
Yeah.
So when I said I'm a consumer, I am a consumer. Yeah. So and now I know where the DB Johnston comes from. So the DB Johnston and Company straight bourbon whiskey. They have the old fashioned, which is the easiest drink to make, but also the easiest drink to screw up. Right? It's one of those well balanced drinks. Right? So. I came across the website. I had met you guys at All Star, and I was like, okay, I got to get a little further into this. And so I had that. I had the Forbidden Dry vodka, the Mermaid Mule, and I'm looking at this website going, my God, this is excellent stuff. So you have the rum, you have the bourbon, you have the cooler teas, you have the vodkas. Tell me about your signature drinks there at Mermaid. What are your signature cocktails? What are your signature beverages, drinks? Give me a little background there.
So because our emphasis because our emphasis has been on high quality spirits that you could drink straight, our signature cocktails do tend. So everything we do make so people can, with our bottles, everything we make it so if you wanted to pick it up and sip it like neat or on the rocks or chilled or whatever, everything is, you're able to do that. So how you started in with like the old fashioned, like that's, we're not doing anything groundbreaking saying like, use our bourbon and make an old fashioned, but since we do pride ourselves on the quality of just the spirit fundamentally, that is something that we do recommend that people do with our spirits, is use them. Like I was just reading the book that I'm reading right now is the opening chapter is on the old fashioned, and it's explaining why it's like the perfect cocktail because it emphasizes the spirit, it's balanced by the sweetness, and it's seasoned by the bitters. And I'm like, oh, that's like a very novel way to look at that.
Right,
Right. It's like this is the opening chapter in the book on cocktails. I'm like, oh, never thought about that. I made like 100 million old fashions, and then some for other people as well.
Right.
But
you wouldn't be a
I
good bartender if you didn't perfect your craft, right? You wouldn't be good. Yeah.
I would never serve somebody I wouldn't drink something myself. But yeah, so that's kind of, we do typically end up recommending like just like very spirit forward preparations, like your old fashioned, like your martini, like your Manhattan with our port finish bourbon. And you get a really good sweet vermouth and obviously Angostura, or actually black walnut bitters.
Wow.
We do, that's our house Manhattan at our bars. Port finish bourbon, sweet vermouth, and black walnut bitters. Delicious. I would say another drink that I kind of forced onto our special menu is a riff on a gin based tiki cocktail.
Ooh.
From I think it's like Trader Vic or something, like one of the prolific tiki cocktail guys from the early mid-century. And the original drink is called a Wapala, and it's gin, rum, lemon juice, and Wapala. And gin, rum, yeah, it's so much fun to say. Yeah. But the riff is even more fun. And it's so the original drink, it's gin, rum, pomegranate syrup, and lemon juice, and served as a cocktail. And so my riff on it is called a hoopla, and because it's easier to say, like if you read Wapala and you read hoopla, people are like, oh, the hoopla. And so it's we make a hibiscus gin, so it's equal parts hibiscus gin, aged rum, limoncello, and pomegranate syrup. And so like shaken, strain, serves as a cocktail. Very strong.
I'm leaving the interview right now to head up there because that sounds absolutely amazing. Wow.
Yeah.
So tell me.
I would say that's
Oh no! Tell me a little bit about the cooler tea though. We started seeing the RTDs in the market, but yours is a little bit different because it is a vodka based one versus a malt based RTD. Tell me a little bit about the cooler tea.
So that is correct. It is vodka based. There's a very popular malt. I probably don't even have to say it because it's the most popular malt based RTD made by a very big beer company. And that's the one people think of typically. And a little known fact that is, I think is very interesting is it's a $300 million business. The largest market is Northeast Philadelphia, actually. And it's just something that is so culturally ingrained. Just Philadelphia, when I grew up in and around the city. And when you think of Phil, I mean, I think of iced tea as something that's kind of inseparable, like from Arctic Splash, going to elementary school, like paper boxes of iced tea, to Wawa iced tea on field trips. And it's just something that's so ingrained in the culture. You have the, logically, there's this very big brand that makes a malt-based iced tea that is very popular in the city. And I found myself mixing vodka with like a jug of lemon iced tea. It's very tasty. Lemonade iced tea. It's good. It really works. It's a very, very simple formula, but it really works. And so, there's an obvious need for this in the market. And so, I went to Dave and I said, we make seltzers now, but I really want to get into a non-carbonated canned beverage that's just easy drinking, tasty, and has the quality that our customers have come to know with all of our other products. And Dave said, "No, we make so many products, we cannot bring on another thing. It's getting completely out of hand, even though they're all very good. But to ensure the quality, we have to be careful." So he said no. And so I was like, okay. And I kept talking to people, and they were like, "Yeah, I really would like an iced tea, like a canned iced tea with vodka." People started bringing it up to me. I was like, "Damn, we got to do this." And he was like, "I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think we're going to do it." And so then I started we'd go to events, like community events, farmers markets, but like beer fest, wine fest, stuff like that, to display our bottles, like do tastings and stuff like that. And we can sell mixed drinks at these events. And so I started getting jugs of lemon flavored iced tea from the grocery store and vodka. I would pour people vodka iced tea and say, "Oh, isn't this great? It's vodka. It's lemon vodka iced tea. Isn't this fantastic?" And I would come back and I said, "Dave, I just sold $1,000 of jugs of iced tea and vodka. It's people really, really want this."
Nice.
And he goes,
nice.
"You are absolutely right." So we put it together. Dave formulated it. It's made with cold brew whole leaf tea and real lemon juice. So it's the same treatment as all of our other stuff, where it's very high quality. Dave's formulas, it's our vodka sweetened with real sugar. It's not artificially sweetened. It does not taste artificial. It tastes light and natural. Like a lot of people say to us, and we kind of feel as well, it's like your mother's or grandmother's like sun tea, like a barbecue or something over the summer. And the name actually Cooler Tea comes from like a deep dive in when we went to come up with like the branding and packaging for the product. I was thinking about what is the importance of lemon flavored iced tea.
Right.
Like why is it important? Because like, there's a lot of emphasis around it, but why is it important? And to me, like kind of digging deep, there's like a core memory that like I have, having grown up in the Northeast, of like, going with your family or friends or whatever and stocking a cooler full of like lemon flavored iced tea from Wawa or the grocery store or something. And just like, sand and sun, the like lemon flavored iced tea. So I was like thinking about like, when I was growing up, all the way back in the early 2000s, ancient. But the like plastic, like, Igloo coolers, Coleman coolers, whatever. And I was like, oh, cooler full of iced tea.
Look at that.
Cooler
All right.
Yeah. So that's where it came from. And it's ironic. I 100% did not intend to wear this,
Right.
but there's this shirt that I just had that kind of, I don't know if it's coming through, but it says "Keeping It Cool." And this is how like this is how like we can be influenced by things.
Sure.
Where I am not making this up, that when I had this realization, I was wearing this shirt and I looked in the mirror and I feel so dumb for saying that, but I was like, oh, it's just like there's like this big grand like exploration and the inner machinations of my mind, whatever. And it's like I was just sort of glancing at the shirt that I was wearing, and it just like really kind of came together.
Very nice. That's
So
I'm happy to hear that I'm not a degenerate that used to take. I grew up in Delaware. I live in Glen Mills now, and we have High Point iced tea, which is those little cartons of iced tea. And when I hit college, you would pour a little vodka in the tea. So I'm not a degenerate, which is good. Which I like that. That's pretty awesome. Now, but there's the
You're
tie-in.
actually a future thinker.
Few
Yeah.
see, I should have
Yeah.
cornered the market with the
Yeah.
RTDs. So, but you gave,
Your
it's
vision.
funny, you gave a really nice kind of segue into a question of mine about the Delaware Valley connection. You're given
Yeah.
that most of
Oh
us,
yeah.
growing up, you're doing the Wawas, you're doing the High Points, you're doing these different iced tea companies, and now, I mean, Wawa has just completely exploded. It's everywhere. So
Yeah.
people are getting that taste of that iced tea. What tell me
Hmm.
tell me about ingredients wise. You said you're using the high quality ingredients. Are you using ingredients from the Delaware Valley? Would that matter? Would that matter within your products?
So when it comes to you can't, yes, it's unfortunately it's not like beer or whiskey where it's
Okay.
like this area is so good for growing grains and
Sure.
fruit, and things like that that would go into like a honey, even for like, people who like our honey. We make a honey whiskey. Our honey whiskey is phenomenal, and it's made with honey, wildflower honey from
Sure.
Germantown, so it's from the Delaware Valley.
Right.
And you get like in the wine communities, they say you get like the terroir,
Yep.
like the flavor of the environment. That it's so good, it's so unique to the environment. We can't do that. It's tea from it's imported from it's grown in Asia,
Sure.
and lemons you cannot unless very painstakingly, you cannot get lemons in the area. So unfortunately not locally. It's locally made, but it's locally prepared, but and it's made by people who have a taste for the palate of the community.
Sure.
Like,
Sure.
it's kind of for the consumers, by the consumers, of the product. But unfortunately now, it's
But
the sort of things that it's made out of. We can't really, but they're very high quality ingredients.
at
And
least
like I
it's
said, we're,
I
yeah,
was going to say, at least it's Germantown honey and not Essington honey, because I don't want to know what that tastes
absolutely.
like. So
Yeah,
we're
totally,
Kensington
totally.
honey.
And that's all we'll say about that. Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
great. That no, but again,
Yeah.
it's you're right. The product has to fit the consumer, and sometimes
Yeah.
the areas cannot fit. That type of
Yeah.
consumership. It makes
Yeah.
sense.
And
Makes sense.
yeah, I definitely I have very grandiose ideas of making non-local products
But
in like fully in this place, but that's future projects when we got that coming up. If I'm able to bring that to fruition, I
sure,
will come
sure.
back on this podcast and tell
I,
you
tell-
about it and
I
say, "Don't you remember that?"
I look
Yeah.
forward to that. You heard it here, heard it here
Yeah.
first, folks. So
This is
tell
an exclusive. Yeah.
so I like the story wearing the T-shirt, coming up with cooler tea.
Yeah.
Tell me about the process here. Do you guys go to a boardroom? Do you throw around ideas for new products, for new bourbons, or what's the process
So
with Mermaid?
I think you kind of got an idea. So it's very, it's, I, I think it's really led by the fact that, Dave, being like, being, an expert in his field, but also like a guy's guy, and like a guy's guy, and he's a dad, and he's like
Mhm.
very senior in his, like he's like very fair, very understanding, but we're a meritocracy. So like Dave will listen to any idea Dave will listen to any idea, and anything that has merit or could be substantiated by facts,
Okay.
he's all in for. So like we're a small group, and we keep a small group,
Okay.
because it kind of keeps the culture of what we're trying to go for, like genuine.
Sure.
And
Sure.
so I think where earlier I was saying like the process kind of was like, hey, I had this idea, and it was like, we got a lot going on right now, like let's shelve that. But I knew that if I was able to substantiate it to him, he would
Good.
go for it. And
Sure.
that's kind of what had happened. That's what happens when it comes to coming up with new products. And he does the same thing with us, where he will like we kind of jokingly say like Monday afternoon. It's like, that's Monday's the most important day of the week, for the most part, because you're setting up the rest of
Right.
your week.
Right.
But like Monday
Right.
always ends
Right.
up, we always have more important things to do, but it always ends up, hey, I had this idea for this new thing. Like, I know we have to produce like a million things and we have deadlines and stuff like that, but I kind of had this idea. So everything starts with, I kind of had this idea, and we kind of like vote on it, and
Very
it's
cool.
not formally, but like I said, it's a meritocracy. So like we all kind of on equal footing. If somebody comes up with something new or has an idea to change something, it's just sort of like worked out by the group. We all trust each other.
Very cool.
Um,
Very cool.
yeah, and
Yeah,
so that's it.
it's a
Yeah.
a great process, or at least it sounds like a fun process. There's got to be somebody that came in with something just completely off the wall, and the group had to go, no, go back to your
Yeah,
Sunday,
that's absolutely would have been me. I definitely think I can because like also I love taking real like pot shot, or like let's say I love being moonshot, but sometimes moonshot's pot shot. And
Gotcha.
sometimes it just comes
I
up with
love it. I love it.
it's just not feasible, not the right time, a little bit too much.
That's great.
But yeah.
Well, this
Yeah.
this is your first time, if I stand corrected. This is your first time at the Delaware Beer Fest down here.
That is correct.
It's our first time in our new home of Frawley Stadium for the Blue Rocks. People are going to come up to your booth. They're going to hear this podcast. They're going to want to meet you. So tell me,
Yeah.
what are people going to expect? What products are you bringing? What are you thinking of bringing? Is there any limited edition that you're bringing? What's happening here?
So I think for now, we were just planning on keeping it fairly simple, and giving people all the cooler tea that they could possibly drink.
Nice, nice.
Because for a beer fest, it's a nice refreshing beverage to switch it up between booths. For people going around trying like IPAs and wheat beers and like darker beers
Right.
heading into the fall. We found that for beer fest, it's nice for people because it stands up to beer very well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there might be some surprises as well,
We
but I think for the most part we will be just
the cooler tea.
we'll be coming out. Yeah, the cooler tea booth.
I dig it. I think it's one of the best RTD, the vodka teas out there. So not a shameless one. Like I said, I have to give a sample try of everything. And
of course,
it's
absolutely.
it's actually excellent. So give me a little bit about industry trends right now. Let's go into the industry a second. RTDs have been kind of busting out of the seams right now. We're seeing things from your margaritas to your palomas to mojitos, and obviously your malt beverages, your seltzers, and now you're seeing a trend that goes to that the unbubbly stuff, and cooler tea fits right in there. What are the trends that you're seeing within the industry?
So the trends that I am seeing within the so like the trends I'm seeing within the overall beverage industry, you had touched upon it already, that RTDs are the fastest growing segment in the beverage, market. And in Delaware, you guys have had the beauty of liquor stores. So like I'm speaking regionally a little bit.
Right.
You guys have had liquor stores, and I believe you can buy alcohol at like gas stations and stuff. Right?
It's starting to be the Wild West here. So
okay,
Delaware doesn't have the state-run stores, so you go to a liquor store, like Total Wine. Not to plug anybody else, but Total Wine is the size of a Costco down here, and it's just amazing.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah. So in Pennsylvania, we don't have that. It's formally we could only sell even our RTDs, since they're spirit based. We could only sell them at the Fine Wine and Good Spirits, the state control store. But the law just changed, so now we will be able to sell them to beer carryouts, grocery stores, gas stations, people who have the carryout type license.
Nice.
That's very exciting. So we're definitely going to see, at least regionally, everybody else, like other states, non-control states, have enjoyed the boom in RTDs that Pennsylvania has like kind of struggled with because the distribution network hasn't quite been there. So RTDs exploding. If I'm not wrong, I believe they're actually, from what I see on the ground, obviously, working with bars and restaurants and now beer carryouts and distributors, that it seems like they're actually even taking a little bit of market share from craft beer. Some from craft beer, some, I think, seltzers, like the more basic, just multi-flavor SKUs, I think are taking some market share from light beer.
It would make sense,
so,
right? Especially most of the seltzers right now that are the popular ones, are 100 calories or less. So you're the light beers are about that. So it would make a lot of sense. That's pretty wild.
Absolutely. And then just in terms of, I think once again, you hit the nail on the head. Non-carbonated RTDs are, I think they're really just starting now, and I think they have a ton of headroom to continue growing. So I think you're going to continue to see juices and iced teas and rum punches. We're very bullish on non-carbonated RTDs. So we have ones in the pipeline that we are very excited to announce in the, most likely next year. But I think in terms of industry trends, that's kind of it. It's just going to be innovating until like obviously right now, I think seltzers and iced teas are becoming the established. Like RTDs will have to, since they're taking up a chunk of the market share, they're going to have to find their categories, like your as a beer drinker, and I'm a beer drinker as well. It's like you ask for a lager, you ask for a pilsner, you know what you're getting. I think there's like right now there's seltzers and there's teas, but I think for the category RTDs, spirit-based RTDs specifically, to have longevity, they'll have to settle into a few other established categories, and I'm not quite sure what those will be yet. It's sort of changing by the day. I have a vested interest in finding out what that third, fourth, and fifth category will be. Your lager, your pilsner, your stout, your whatever. It's like people walk in, they know.
Cooler tea. That's that category, right? It'll just be cooler tea. There you go.
It will just be cool. Yeah, the cooler tea category. It's the coolest category of all of the RTDs.
Well, it's kind of.
I would be fine with that.
It's exciting to know. I mean, let's truly look at that. It's exciting to know you kind of, you're doing full circle here, that you could go to a Wawa, get a hoagie, and now go to the cooler that they have. Like, I live in Glen Mill, so Chad's Ford was one of the first Wawas that actually you could buy booze at. You could buy liquor, you could buy beer at. So now, I'm going to go get that Wawa hoagie, and I'm going to go in and get a cooler tea with it. That you just came full circle, Joe.
Be good. Absolutely. Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about, now you said, and I don't want you to reveal any secrets if you can't, but what are your future trends, Mermaid Spirits future trends? What are you looking to do?
So I think future trends for Mermaid Spirits are going to be, so right now we just have lemon flavored cooler tea. By next year there will be 3 more flavors. We're going to have a 4 flavor variety pack.
Nice.
That is not groundbreaking. That is, consumers expect that. I think we have on the horizon, we're going to be focusing a good chunk of our energy on really differentiating, or really highlighting how differentiated our rums are. Dave started doing rum when he opened the distillery, and we're getting back to our roots with that now, in RTDs and in just our bottle offerings. So I think that we have rum-based RTDs that are absolutely groundbreaking that we are just doing in small scales,
Very nice.
or just doing in like test batches in like just our immediate. We're using our immediate market as a test market,
Sure.
and we kind of have primed our distributor that like once again, it's sort of like next year. We plan on next year, maybe like Q1 of like the following year, that we have really big plans for non-carbonated rum-based RTDs that are
Nice.
going to be like the so like we're a big rum. I feel like throughout the entire interview I've said I'm a big beer drinker, I'm a big rum drinker, I'm a
That's all
drinker.
right. That's all right.
Yeah, I'm doing the right job.
You're just a
But
big drinker. That's fine, Joey. Just being a big
absolutely,
drinker.
yes, 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 yes. You can change my name if there's a name, and
Yeah,
it's
Joe
just Big
Drinker.
Drinker. But Joe Big Drinker, yeah, cool, Joe Cooler Big Drinker. Um, so yeah, so I think like rum, I genuinely believe that people, like, I'm sure you've heard people say this a lot, maybe you even have said this yourself, where it's like, I'm not a big rum guy. I think a lot of people just haven't had a lot of good rums.
Right, right.
So we're going to be doing a lot of messaging in terms of like really high quality rums and some really cool novel rum based RTDs.
Which,
So
that
that's, yeah.
it's fun. It's fun because when you think of
Yeah.
vacation, you think of going to the Caribbean, you think of,
Oh yeah.
that's when
I was
people
in
think of rums.
I was in the Dominican Republic this spring,
Okay.
and just in its natural habitat, drinking rum on the beach all day, every day.
Yeah.
It's, oh my goodness, it couldn't be better.
Yeah, it's that drink that people don't think of. I got into, and not to brand drop or anything like that, but I got
Please.
into
Yeah.
Diplomatico rum, which
Very high quality.
I mean, just an amazing rum. And you wouldn't, as a bourbon
Yeah.
drinker, I found that switch to Diplomatico, that type or that style of sipping rum, to be so
Yeah.
easy to do as a bourbon drinker, and I don't think people give it its due. And I definitely would want, people to understand that with Mermaid Spirits is that you have several types of rum, not just one rum, you have
Absolutely.
several types of rum.
Yeah, so we have three rum offers. We have different blends of white rum, which are like completely different for completely different occasions. And we have a sipping rum, like you were saying, that is finished in Pennsylvania rye whiskey barrels. So it just has like a completely different flavor that is so stinking good to make like classic tea. You could obviously sip it before I start working. Dave's number one recommendation was what do you do with the rum? Put it in a glass. So but I mean there's those really delicious sipping rums. Like you said, if you're a bourbon drinker, you could just like pour it in a glass or put it on a big rock or something. Or even you go a step beyond that, which I'm going to challenge you to do, is to make a rum old fashioned or a rum Manhattan.
Yep.
Because then you're in a complete, like, as you go between like the two ends of the spectrum are like the sipping experience where you're
Right.
just drinking the rum straight and sipping it, and the other end of the spectrum is like your tiki drink where you're like loading it up with juices and different liqueurs and things like that. As you like inch your way through the spectrum of like dilution and of different, like adding different like seasoning ingredients, I think you'll find there's like totally different characters, just as we were talking about with bourbon.
You could step it up so easily. I would even throw out there, we talk about the bitters, to use the Aztec chocolate bitters and the orange
Oh yeah.
in the rum.
Oh yeah.
And again, and going to your Golden
Absolutely.
Tail rum, it's a fabulous rum. It's a great sipping rum.
Yeah.
So very good. Any collaborations? Have you guys collaborated with other brewers, brands, any distilleries, or you guys, or any like sports teams or anything?
Yes, so we have collaborated with we have a couple collaborations going. This year, we've been collaborating with a coffee shop in Roxborough in Philadelphia
Nice.
called Sweet Java. And so we have teamed up with them to offer a full cocktail bar at their location in Roxborough.
Nice.
So they're an all-day cafe, so you can get coffee in the mornings, and then midday onwards, they're a full service cocktail bar. So that's through us. So you can get all Mermaid Spirits in Roxborough and Philadelphia.
Very nice.
So like that's one collaboration. And then also we've teamed up with a Philadelphia area DJ, DJ Tonka, who he DJs for the Phillies and does quite a bit of DJ work in and around Philadelphia. And we teamed up to sponsor his Pop Punk Is Not Dead party over this summer. It's been the last Thursday of every month for this whole summer.
Very nice.
And that's been sponsored by Cooler Tea, so that's been really fun. And what else? Jeez, I feel like I'm forgetting something. We have stuff coming up that's really excited that I cannot talk about, which is driving me nuts. But
that is okay. That's why we always make other episodes. You know, we come back for part 2 with it. All right, I'm going to throw you a curveball a little bit. You know, that's the baseball theme here, and I want you to knock it out of the park. Damn it, here it is. So,
get ready for a home run.
See, we're going with it. So, just a final thought with it, and this one's personal for you. Okay, this is very, very personal. If you could create some drink inspired by any famous person, living, dead, famous in the world, or famous just to you, what would it be? What would that drink be like? And could you think of a name of that drink for an inspired by a famous person?
Okay. Yes. Okay. So there is a drink that I have been. I'm a big fan of. I'm a big fan of this historical figure. I'm a big fan of history. I'm a big fan of literature. And I'm a big fan of. There is. I want to make. Ernest Hemingway drank a lot of daiquiris. Drank a lot of because he like bopped around Cuba and stuff like that. I have a UPS package or a FedEx package coming in. I'm so sorry about this.
We're live podcast, boys and girls.
Sorry about that. At a real local business.
That's okay. That's okay.
I'm so sorry.
That's all right, folks. See, this is when we tell people that we interview real people that have real businesses and we do things live on air. So we have to grab a FedEx package.
Ernest Hemingway. Exit. Okay. And we're good. Okay. Sorry.
It's a first.
This is what happens.
That's okay. Perfectly fine.
Sometimes alcohol is delivered. It needs a over 21 signature.
There you go. Ernest Hemingway. We're down in Key West. There we
Ernest
go.
Hemingway is the historic. We're Key West, Cuba. And also I grew up, unfortunately I grew up going to Taco Bell. So the Taco Bell Mountain Dew Baja Blast.
Oh man, here we go.
So I want to make a daiquiri using a Baja Blast syrup and call it For Whom the Baja Blasts.
Nice. Very nice. Very nice. I like it. I like it.
That has been a cocktail that I have been thinking about for a while, but I've not started building it because the cans of Baja Blast are a seasonal thing.
Right.
And I have not gotten the timing right in terms of picking. I think it's out right now, so maybe this is my sign to pick some up. And
if you brought Cooler Tea to the world, Joe, I am sure that you could make Ernest Hemingway's legacy proud at that point.
For Whom the Baja Blast.
Love
and
it.
then go to a bullfight. Yeah.
Well, give the listeners and the viewers at this point, where can they find Mermaid Spirits on the interwebs? Give us all the social media details and so on.
Yep. So you can find Mermaid Spirits. First and foremost, if you are in the Philadelphia metropolitan area, come to Mermaid Spirits and our storefront. We have a storefront. We have a bottle shop. We do free tastings every day. Come to Mermaid Spirits at 2052 County Line Road in Huntington Valley. We're very close to Northeast Philadelphia. We border Northeast Philadelphia. On the internet, you go to mermaidspirits.com. You find all of our information there. You on social media, Mermaid Spirits on Facebook and Instagram, and at the Cooler Tea on Instagram for our Cooler Tea only page. And I run that one, and it gets a little bit wonkier than our more family friendly Mermaid Spirits page.
That is perfectly fine. Joe, you've been fantastic. Yeah. Can't wait to see you at the ballpark. This is going to be great. Thank you so much for the afternoon here, talking to us a little bit and giving us all about Mermaid Spirits and Cooler Tea. Folks, remember, you're going to see Cooler Tea, you're going to see Mermaid Spirits at the Delaware Beer Fest, which we're going to be at Frowley Stadium, home of the Wilmington Brew Rocks, on October 5th. On that Saturday, we got 2 sessions. Make sure you get tickets. They're going way too fast for us to even handle at this point. Get some tickets. You could also get, I know they're floating out there. There's little promo codes. I think we actually have a promo code for Mermaid Spirits. It's Mermaid. I think that's it.
Yep.
So Mermaid, you get $5 off, $5 off any of the tickets from general admission up to ultra. But get to DelawareBeerFest.com. Again, we're going to see you at the ballpark October 5th, DelawareBeerFest.com. This is Dennis with the Delaware Beer Fest and also the Daily Beer Podcast. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time.
Thank you very much.